breaking news for your home. Way-Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way-Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way-Day. Shop Wayfair's Way-Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You're listening to KEMPIRE here on the KEMPIRE Radio Network.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. Mention it also, it's 40 degrees in Philadelphia. It is about 49 degrees here in New York. I don't know what is going on with this weather. I don't want to rush into summer, and last week felt like it was a rush into summer where it was like 80-something degrees. I don't need that. I am a spring baby. Happy tourist season. I like 60s, 70s. 60s at night, 70s during the day. I don't need, unless we're gonna get 80s and no humidity, then I'm okay with that. But us running into 90-degree weather, Brooke, I know you love that 90-degree weather. That's where we differ. That's where we differ, all right? No, I like the 70s. 70s is good. I can still put my pom-pom shorts on. I got to just make sure I get back inside the house before it's evening, okay? Happy Tuesday Takeover, guys. This is where we cover a variety of pop culture news and reality television. I will be talking about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I just rewatched it. I'm in. I am in when it comes to Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I'm enjoying the season. Before I was like, I don't want to. I have commitment issues. Okay, not really. I don't. Let me take that back. I don't have commitment issues, but I am a Taurus. And we don't fall in love easily. I gotta warm up to people, relationships, and TV shows. So I had to warm up to them, but I think after episode 4, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. It's a solid group. There's solid drama going on, but I'm still figuring them out. But I love the fact that there really are deep roots within this group. I wasn't convinced because they love to tell you that. Production, the network, the marketers, they love to tell you, no, there's deep roots because you guys keep asking for that. But based off of, I'm paying attention to who's connected to who, how long have they known each other, are there deep friendships? Not necessarily. There are 1 or 2 deep friendships, but people know of each other. And it reminds me of the early days of Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I know what you're probably thinking. That means we don't need New Jersey. Well, maybe not, but if they refresh New Jersey, just because Italians in Rhode Island move one way and there's some similarities doesn't mean that they move the same way as the folks in New Jersey or here in New York. I told you, Real Housewives of New York could have looked very different depending on the friend group they decided on. The Real Housewives of New York could have looked very much like Rhode Island or New Jersey. If you grew up in New York, you get exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about the tri-state area. You talk about living in New Jersey, I'm like, basically you're a New Yorker. That's how we feel, okay? Literally, in Staten Island, you could have literally did your version of Real Housewives of New Jersey just from Staten Island or certain parts of Brooklyn. A lot of folks from Staten Island, the Italians and the Irish, are from Brooklyn, and they moved to Staten Island. I grew up on Staten Island, so I know. But I'm just happy to bring back the New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island accent for our recaps. But we will get back to that. There's so many stories that I want to talk about. As always, for our Tuesday Takeover, what is your good news? What do you have to celebrate? Did I tell you guys I got this award, the Villa Awards? Shout out to the Villa Awards. I went to my P.O. box, I think like a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if I mentioned this on this live or if I mentioned it during our TikTok lives. I just don't know. I'm always live. But I just wanted to say thank you for my award. You guys voted, and I got the Villa Award for 2025, the best deep diver. That's what he said. Nasty. This is I KEMPIRE After Dark. All right. Congratulations, Lene says, good news, new job. A lot of people have gotten new jobs in our community. If you've gotten a new job and you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know. If you're in the live chat, let us know. Congratulations on those of you that are starting new chapters. For us Tauruses, on the 25th, Taurus moves out of Uranus and moves into Gemini. Geminis, sorry for y'all, but 7 years of us being your Uranus, we're ready to get out of there. All right. Yes, Villa Award for the villain era. Okay. TJ says, not deep diving. Ooh, Lene says, I am a Gemini, by the way. Google schmoogle what it means to be for Uranus to be in your sign. Here's the thing. I'll say this. Uranus has been in my sign for the last 7 years, almost 8 years. I will say this. I didn't feel a difference. I say that, but then I had a lot of life changes in these last 7 years. I started working for myself. Remember, I quit my job back in 2021. There's been a lot. I moved. There have been a lot of changes, but they felt gradual. Get you a Taurus friend to keep you grounded, Gemini. You'll be fine, Lene. You'll be fine. Miriam got a promotion recently. Congratulations to you. All right. Just in time for my lunch walk. See, those are the moments where I miss working in an office where you get those breaks. Sometimes you'll take those lunch breaks with your coworkers. I don't have that really anymore, but I'm okay with it. I much prefer what I'm doing now. But there are those moments like, oh, I remember my lunch walks and things like that. Yes, Kimmy says, yes, Taurus season. April 27th. Good things for us this season. Amen. Amen, Kimmy. Happy early birthday. Don't forget, guys, I'm on Cameo. So if you want a Taurus to give you a personal birthday shout out, check out the description. Book me on Cameo. Some of you already have been doing it. So thank you. Lene says, we are your coworkers. Yeah, but it's not the same. If I want to go and walk right now, y'all not here with me. I'd love to go for a walk. It's very frigid, though, here in New York. All right. Yay, congratulations. Oh, hold on. 3Ls says, my YouTube channel is taking off. I have 8 new subscribers. I know that's right. I'll tell you this. When I first started YouTube, I didn't pay attention to the numbers like that. I really did not pay attention to the numbers like that. And until they hit like milestones. If you pay attention too much to the numbers, you get really, I really don't pay too much attention to even now, I don't pay attention. Yeah, would I love to be at 1 million subscribers? Yes. But if I really sat here and look at the clock, when I'm going to make it to 600,000, sometimes that's YouTube. Sometimes you're like 3,000 in a few days. Or we've been at what, 500? Hold on. Let me put it up behind me as I do this. We're at what, 573,000 subscribers? Sometimes it'll stay like that, and then all of a sudden we'll be at 600,000 subscribers. You just never know what's going to pop. Just stay diligent, stay focused. Yeah, exactly, Lee. Lee says deep diver. Okay, Kempire. Jermaine, happy Tuesday Takeover. You guys have been asking for Tuesday Takeover to return. It is officially back. I've pared it down just a little bit in regards to all of the hot topics, but then I feel like there's so many things that I wanted to add to Tuesday Takeover, so I have to really start limiting myself. The last time we did Tuesday Takeover was before we moved. Look, before we moved. That was the last time I did Tuesday Takeover. Just a lot of things happened. Okay, I guess Taurus was in Uranus because a lot of things really did happen over the last 6-7 years. But it's okay. We are here. We are surviving. We are thriving. You know who's not thriving? You remember the lady that got caught kissing on camera at the Coldplay concert? I don't remember her name. Her name is unimportant, but she really wants to be relevant. But I have to give her due because Homegirl made it all the way to Oprah Winfrey's podcast. Yes, she made all the I was like, Oprah, it must have been a slow news day. Why in the hell would you have this woman on your podcast? And look, she cleared up some of the rumors. They weren't having an affair. She was already separated. I don't know if he was not. I really don't care. It was a viral moment. Your 15 minutes of fame have been over. So she, for me today, is the flunky of the week. Okay? Because guess what she said? Guess what this lady said? Coldplay Kiss Cam woman, I love that they didn't even give a name, says that Chris Martin never once checked on her. Nope, never did. She also confirmed that she will never attend another Coldplay concert. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's going to hurt Coldplay? That's going to hurt Coldplay that you will never attend. Here's the thing. I didn't see this full interview. I didn't read this full interview. For all they could have said, did Chris Martin ever check in on you? The interviewer. And she's just like, nope, never did. Not to say that she was expecting him to. But look, I'm going to give grace. But at the same time, lady, you are sitting around doing interviews everywhere about this viral moment. Go get away from me with this. Get away from me with this. But she says she's never going to go to another Coldplay concert. Okay. They have millions of fans around the world. They are not going to be hurt by you not attending one of their concerts ever again. Get away from me with this. All right. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Virgo Leo Cap says, I predicted in December of 2025 you will be at 1 million by the end of 2026. Are you psychic? Are you psychic? Hold on. I'll take it. Can we all put our same energy to what Virgo Leo Cap is saying, that by the end of this year we'll be at 1 million subscribers? Come on. I'll take it. I'll take it. Come on. A round of applause. I'm going to take that. Oh, I still got more water. During the commercial break. During the commercial break. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to like the video, guys. This is an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. We have a lot to get into today. So let's just jump on in. Okay. Sidebar. Because I don't have any clips to play for you. I'll just tell you to go watch these particular videos. We've been reporting on Ashley Robinson, a.k.a. Ashley Janae, and the investigation into her mysterious death that happened while she was on vacation celebrating her 31st birthday with her boyfriend, now fiance, and everyone suspects that the fiance had something to do with it. We love to talk astrology and psychics and things like that. I saw 2 readings from 2 psychics that I respect, Aphrodite and Sloan Bella. And they were very interesting readings. Shout out to both of them, because both of them really highlighted, especially because Aphrodite said this at the end of his video, how a lot of these murders of Black women go unnoticed and they don't get the same headlines that others do. So that was part of the reason why he continues to do readings on such murders like that. Like Shanquilla Robinson, he did a reading on her as well. I watched Sloan Bella's reading over the weekend. It came out like randomly over the weekend, like in the middle of the night. And I was like, I got to watch this. And I watched it a couple of times. So if you haven't seen any of their videos, mods, if we can find the links to that and post them in the live chat, please do. After the live, I'll post it in the description. Or just go to their pages and check out the readings. But Sloan Bella, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not saying that this is fact. But she and Aphrodite are saying that this man allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, based on their readings, they said that the fiance had something to do with it. Aphrodite said that there will be justice in her murder, and that was hopeful. But Sloan Bella said that this was like some sort of weird online dark web internet game in regards to, some of those gambling things that they have where you can predict who's going to win a particular race or a particular sport, or if it's going to snow or rain or that kind of thing. But she says this is more of a dark web undercurrent where there was predictions. When could we get married? Or when could we do this? That's what she said. I'm just saying because I know we are all a little witchy. We get into stuff like this. So if you are interested in seeing those readings, I'm just saying go and check out those particular readers that I saw over the weekend. I'd love to share with you guys some of the things that I'm looking into and whatnot. And also it's keeping the conversation about Ashley Robinson's life in these internet streets for us to continue to talk, because I feel like the reason why we have the arrest recently of David is because the internet has continued to talk about these things. Yeah, if you missed it and you haven't seen it, both Aphrodite and Sloan Bella did readings on Ashley Robinson's mysterious death that happened in Tanzania. Okay. All right. As I move on from this, since we mentioned David, I guess I'll just jump right in and talk about that particular story. This story has been going viral for several months, but it was just last week that David was arrested for the unaliving of Celeste. And we talked about this the other day, and they just released his mugshot. There's something about this man that is just weird to me, weird energy. Even, I don't know if you guys saw, he was in court yesterday, and just the nonchalant body language. We're body language experts. We say it facetiously. But his body language was just giving cold-blooded. Honestly, just cold, flat affect. But this, I've never seen, and you guys will let me know. It's not like I'm sitting around looking at mugshots. I've never seen a mugshot that looks like this where the person's not looking into the camera. Have you guys? And you'll let me know. Is that common maybe in the jurisdiction where he was arrested? But I've never seen a mugshot like this where he's not looking into the camera. If you saw him at his court appearance, his body language was very strange to me. Latanya says he's not all there, them eyes. But look at this picture. This is a picture. Remember when you were in high school or grammar school where you would take like that? It was like an old school picture where you're looking off into the distance. That's the way that mugshot is giving. I thought this was strange. I thought this was weird. Mention it also says he looks empty in the eyes. So I want to play for you. Shout out to our friends over at Law and Crime because they do such a great job covering these criminal cases. Be sure to follow and subscribe to them. I'm going to play this under fair use. I'm going to stop and go just because, you know, we got to do that. But I'm also going to play it at a faster speed so we can get through some of it. But a lot of the information, I listened to this last night, a lot of the information is from the press conference that the DA had yesterday in regards to this David investigation and Celeste investigation. The sad part about this, the more you learn about what happened to her body, they said her body was dismembered, and just how many adults failed Celeste. She was 14 years old. She turned 14 when they found her. She had her birthday, but based on what they're saying, it seems as if she may have passed away before her birthday. Okay, exactly. Aziza says, yeah, his mugshot is creeping me out. That's why I'm not going to keep it up. I just wanted to show it to you guys. I was like, something about him, something about his energy. And if you didn't see him in court yesterday, first of all, a lot of us have been saying, why did it take so long? It feels as if they would have lost out on information in regards to this investigation because of how long it took to have him arrested. However, they're saying that there was a lot of things in regards to investigation, into this investigation, that they wanted to make sure that they had, because everybody on the internet had speculation and their own particular thoughts on how this played out. So they wanted to lean away from what the internet was saying and actually get the facts. They, in court, when David went into court, they told his attorneys that they have 40 terabytes, not gigabytes, terabytes. How much amount of information that is? 40 terabytes of information into this investigation. That is a lot of information. A lot. And since we were just talking about people like Salome Bella and Aphrodite has done some recent readings on David as well, and some of his speculations in regards to what may have happened in regards to this. I believe Salome Bella may have done a reading too. I can't recall. All right, let me just play for you this. Again, we're going to play this under fair use. I'm going to stop and go in regards to what played out yesterday, because it seems as if David is facing new charges based off of this investigation. And they will be playing clips from the press conference that the DA had yesterday. Jermaine, I think the same thing. I ain't never heard of David before in my entire life. Jermaine says, how is this guy famous? Apparently, he's a singer. And he has toured and all kinds of things. He's been close with all these other people. It's just scary to me to know that if he did this, that you could have been around someone that was capable of this. And then that's the thing. You never know who you're walking amongst. And right, Ziza, I said the same thing. I have never heard of 40 terabytes of information. That means that they've been really doing their digging on the history. First of all, how did Celeste meet David? How long did she know him? Was there a sexual relationship? When you listen to this video, first of all, if he didn't do it, he already did something terrible to this girl way before she passed away. And that was be intimate with her when she was just a minor, allegedly, I'll say. All right, so let me just play this. Again, we're going to play this under fair use. I'm going to stop and go. For those that are just joining us, we are here for our Tuesday Takeover. We're talking about the new charges that singer David is facing.
that was held by the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. I'm talking about LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman. This is in conjunction with the LA...
Hold on, y'all. Let me just speed this up a little bit, just because we're going to play this under fair use. Hold on. Okay, let me just do that. And again, we'll post the links to this in the description. This is from our friends over at Law and Crime and their report, their sidebar report on this. Okay. This
press conference that was held by the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. I'm talking about LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman. This is in conjunction with the LAPD. In this room, they were flanked by a mugshot, a new mugshot of David, and a picture of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We have finally learned whether David will be criminally charged and with what. And remember, this comes on the heels of what we reported last week, the arrest of the 21-year-old romantic homicide singer on suspicion of the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. 7 months ago, her reported decomposed and dismembered body was found in the trunk of a car reportedly registered to the singer. And it was confusing because he was arrested but not charged last week. And we thought that's strange because our reporting was, and we saw this from TMZ and other outlets, that a grand jury had reportedly been hearing evidence for quite some time in this case when the arrest came down. So why was he arrested and not charged? And we speculated and wondered, did the grand jury not believe there was enough evidence to charge him with a crime? Maybe it wasn't a grand jury with the power to indict, maybe just to hear evidence and lock in testimony. Maybe they were still hearing evidence when the arrest came down. And that's why you saw, and we heard this a little bit from TMZ too, whether or not the LAPD and the DA, maybe their offices were not on the same page. You go to this press conference, that was not the case. I'll get to it in a second. So remember what also happened last week. The LAPD, the PIO, released a statement. Detectives from Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, a 21-year-old resident.
Mind you, he's 21 years old. 21.
Los Angeles for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the district attorney's office on Monday for filing consideration. That's today. Now, this also came in from the LA County District Attorney's Office last week. Greg Reisling. Good evening. Our office is aware of the arrest of David Anthony Burke by the Los Angeles Police Department. The case is expected to be presented to the Major Crimes Division, at which point prosecutors will review the facts and evidence to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges. At this time, additional information is not available. We will share an update on Monday once a filing decision has been made. So you hear that language and you wonder, again, were they on the same page? Now, LAPD Captain Scott Williams told NBC last week regarding David's arrest at this home in the Hollywood Hills, we did the best we can to keep tabs on him, but once we developed probable cause to arrest him for murder, then we were on him pretty diligently. And he told the California Post they had a probable cause warrant with them when they made the arrest. And there were photos of armed police outside the residence making the arrest. Per reporting from the California Post, David appeared to be in handcuffs. He was led away. A neighbor told the outlet there were so many cops. There was a...
It also makes me wonder how much information, first of all, they have 40 terabytes of information, but it makes me wonder within these last few months, was he hiding stuff? What wasn't officially arrested until last week? What evidence was destroyed?
An officer on a loudspeaker shouting surrender. It was a big scene. We also heard from David's attorneys. So Blair Burke, Marilyn Benarski, and Regina Peter, they released a statement saying, let us be clear, the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case, and no criminal complaint filed, although you'll hear Nathan Hochman maybe suggest otherwise about a criminal complaint. David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. Now, again, this was from last week. We got to talk about what happened today, okay? By the way, before I even get into today, TMZ reported that their source...
Vallejo says she was 11 when they started dating. She died at 14. That makes sense because based on what the internet had been saying about this investigation after this news came out, apparently she had been back and forth there for a couple of years. So that makes sense in regards to her. She was probably 11, 12 years old when she first met him. But keep listening to what Law and Crime reports in regards to them having a sexual relationship.
Them that the ME, the medical examiner's office, determined Celeste's manner of death to be homicide, okay? Takes us now to today. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman held a press conference alongside members of the LAPD, including Scott Williams, who I mentioned before, even indicated Beth Silverman will be the lead prosecutor on this case, which is interesting because we had previously reported she was the one who was apparently presenting evidence to this grand jury. She's a career prosecutor, particularly in homicide cases. And this was the moment, after 7 months, when Nathan Hochman announced the charging decision for David Anthony Burke. David.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time.
It is important to note he says 14 at that time because when they found her body, I believe she was 15 years old. Lene says, and because everyone keeps asking where were her parents, where were Celeste's parents? Based on what the internet had been saying in their investigation, she had kept on running away from her parents. And I don't know what the home life was like either for her there. It just feels as if Celeste was just in this world unprotected in every which way.
These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts.
So you guys hear that? There are additional charges that they filed.
With an individual under 14 years old and mutilating a human remains of a body.
Did you guys hear these charges? Let me just play this back a little bit. It's a long video, so I don't want to spend too much time here.
Including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I'm a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged.
Okay, first of all, we suspected that David would be charged with murder after that was what he was arrested for, and in other court documents that came out a couple months ago, we know that he was being investigated for murder. But first-degree murder with special circumstances, lying in wait to kill, murdering a witness as part of an investigation, murdering for financial gain, and now facing the possibility of the death penalty, even though it's my understanding there's a moratorium on executions in California, that is a huge deal. And in a minute, we're going to get to the reasons the DA believes the evidence purportedly shows that. But what you're seeing are different alternative theories on how to prove the murder charge here. And clearly, they believe David is at the center, that David is the one responsible. Now, to be clear, he is innocent until proven guilty, and we don't know the exact evidence that the prosecution is going to produce. But also, the sex charges? This is something we have talked about before. Steve Fisher, the private investigator who has been representing the owner of the property where David had reportedly been staying at in the Hollywood Hills, reportedly near where the Tesla was found, he has been saying for months that David could already be charged with sex crimes. That aside from the alleged murder, that there's evidence that David was allegedly having a relationship with a minor. And you heard Nathan Hochman say continuous, meaning more than one time over a period of time. And you're going to hear later when Hochman talks about digital evidence. Are we suggesting here text messages showing this relationship? Photos? Videos? Witness statements of those around the two, maybe? And I'll tell you what, this is the part of the press conference where Hochman talks more about the alleged crimes, and he goes into the different theories. Again, lying in wait, murdering a witness. Take a look.
On April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances. And again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career.
So are you guys understanding the charges he's explaining? This is from a press conference that they had yesterday in regards to David Burke, who was arrested in the unaliving of Celeste. He's explaining why there are these new charges being brought against him.
That Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed.
Kimia, wasn't David on tour when they found his Tesla with her body in? I believe he was on tour.
Mr. Burke, that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
Wow. So it seems a fair interpretation would be she allegedly goes to this house, this property, that David, they're going to be saying, allegedly lured her there, got her there, invited her there. And either he allegedly wanted her there because he planned to kill her, again, if the allegations are true, these are the allegations put forward, but that she was what? Planning on going public or telling someone about the relationship, planning to go to authorities about this relationship? I don't know. But that this was essentially going to risk his career. So he allegedly kills her to keep her quiet, make sure his album, his endorsements, his tour wouldn't be affected. I'm wondering if that's going to be the argument. I wonder if that's going to be the theory of the case. And I assume that's going to be the argument. Now, how will they prove that? How will they prove that intent? Based on the circumstances and timing of this alleged killing, text messages, witness statements, we shall see. But again,
and that's the thing about this generation. Everything is on their social media. And I don't even think they understand how much all of that is tracked. Even if you delete a text message, your text message is not gone. All that information is trackable.
Theories here. And remember, I just go back to this, and I don't know this for sure, but during the grand jury, it was reported by certain outlets that this record executive had testified. And again, allegedly, what do the people around David know? What were they told? What did they communicate to him about his career, about his finances? Just things I'm thinking about right now. And then we go into where Hochman talks about Celeste's family.
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste.
Lady Nat says, yep, he had to cancel 2 shows in the States and his European tour after she was discovered.
And their grief is uncalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke.
Now, at one point, Nathan Hochman brings on LAPD Chief of Police Jim McDonnell, who not only talks more about the investigation, but also addresses the frustration the public has had with law enforcement regarding this case and a lack of public comments or transparency.
Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case.
For those that are just joining us, we're playing a clip from our friends over at Law and Crime. You can see the full video and run it at normal speed on their YouTube channel from their sidebar that they did with Jesse Weber. We're playing some of what played out yesterday in regards to the David investigation, if you're just joining us.
For our decision not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation. It's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose, to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23rd, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8th, 2025, Ms. Rivas' dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly. These challenges were real, and they required patience.
So this is a police chief explaining why this investigation took so long, why it took so long for them to arrest David. Because you remember when this news broke, everybody, people that didn't even know who David was, including myself, became very familiar with him, became very familiar with this situation. And then there was a lot of speculation online, which police do look at because maybe some of that speculation is valid. And so they had to sift through and determine what was real and what wasn't before they could actually bring charges against him. Because at the end of the day, they need to make sure that they have a solid case so that they can get a conviction when they do bring those charges. But there's 40 terabytes of information in regards to this case. We found that out yesterday.
Decision and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice.
And that makes sense. He's not wrong. You don't want to say too much that could jeopardize a case, give a criminal defendant ammunition to say the investigation was tainted or the prosecution is tainted or that you had blinders on and we're only looking at...
Because something like that can easily have someone that did a crime walk away just because the state didn't do what they were supposed to do when it comes to the investigation. So they had to make sure that all their I's were dotted, their T's were crossed, because when this goes to trial, you don't want someone just being able to walk away because you weren't able to prove your case. Doesn't mean that they are even innocent.
Person without looking at exculpatory evidence. But you also have more about cause of death, right? Which hasn't been publicly released because of a court order. The medical examiner's records have been sealed. In fact, Hochman took questions about a lot of things, and he took questions about this. And he talked about how details of the allegations regarding the special circumstances, they're going to be produced in court. He didn't talk so much about it, but he did talk a little bit more about the coroner's report.
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
So once that report is released, and we will see what the coroner's finding or conclusion is, that's going to be a piece of the puzzle. I hate to say this, but again, it's tough to think about cause of death and how you analyze that when you're dealing with reportedly dismembered and decomposed remains. So could they be able to determine, let's say, asphyxiation or poisoning or blunt force trauma or a gunshot wound? And I don't even want to think about this, but was the cause of death the alleged dismemberment? By the way, you heard the defense attorney say he's not the cause of death. Is that because they have their own interpretation of what the cause of death could be? Is this going to be a battle of medical experts? Or are they going to point the finger at somebody else and say that person is the cause of Celeste's death? And Hochman was asked, why did it take so long to make an arrest here, given, again, the body was allegedly found in David's car, and you look at the state of Celeste?
I think the police chief got it right. In a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative, and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions.
So can you imagine they already have 40 terabytes in their investigation, and they are still asking for people that might have information about this case? Because you have to keep in mind, too, based on what we've learned since this all transpired, there were a lot of people in that house. There were a lot of people coming and going, hanging out and doing all kinds of things. So I wouldn't be surprised that there are more people that might know something.
Taken by Mr. Burke. Please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office, and report that information.
So it gives us an idea of the evidence, maybe lack of evidence. You talk about a smoking gun, that one thing. No, totality of the evidence, all of the evidence, not one thing. Some cooperative and non-cooperative witnesses. Is anyone working under an immunity agreement to provide testimony? We talked so much before about Neil Langston, David's purported friend, how he was arrested in Montana for allegedly failing to appear as a witness, seemingly in this case. What was it, in front of the grand jury? TMZ had reported that he had only testified for 30 to 40 minutes. If that's the case, was he uncooperative? Is he a witness? I can't say for sure. Neil Langston did not come up today. Now, according to Hochman, the investigation is ongoing. They believe they have a strong case because of the totality of the evidence that was obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide unit. They talk about the work that the DA's office has done. They believe they can prove these charges, the special allegations, the special circumstances. And this is where Nathan Hochman discusses whether anyone else will be charged.
Is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle, and did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed, beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But what did determine, not that, if you won't say what it was.
So it looks like they do know how she was unalived.
But has it been determined how she was killed, beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes.
He says there's physical evidence and digital evidence. They're talking about social media. They're talking about text messages. They're talking about your computer data. So he's saying that there's both physical and digital evidence. Wow.
Your investigation and just to his question.
Jermaine says, I want to hear David testify. He probably will not testify. We've talked about this when we were covering Diddy case, and we had Kirsten Brown here, who is an LA prosecutor, and we talked about, we've learned a lot over the last year in regards to some of these types of cases. Defendants normally, if they're in their right mind, will not testify. I don't see him testifying in this case just for his own protection.
Are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visits to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder? So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt. An investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on any with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it.
Yes. One more. So much discussion about the difficulty of this case. You talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these evidence?
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence that has been obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide.
He says the totality, because I know someone in the chat just said 40 terabytes of information, but what kind of information? Is it actually strong evidence? You heard what he just said. The way that he's making it seem, and look, this is the DA speaking. The way that he's making it seem, he's saying that the information, the 40 terabytes of information that they have is strong evidence against David.
The work that the district attorney's office has done that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
So I guess it's possible someone else could be arrested or charged. I don't know, maybe if someone refuses to cooperate, refuses to provide testimony. We will continue to stay on top of this case wherever it will go. Thank you.
Shout out to our friends over at Law and Crime. You can see the full video on their website. If you just joined us, guys, this is our Tuesday Takeover. We're just letting you guys know that the singer, David, has been officially charged, facing new charges in this case, in the murder of Celeste Rivas. And the information that they have against him, 40 terabytes. 40 terabytes of information in this investigation. We're going to continue to follow this, so make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are on and you're following the channel. As you can see, we don't just talk about Housewives here on the channel. We talk about everything in pop culture, but we are going to get back to something a little bit lighter. Okay, a little bit lighter than this particular story. I really do hope for everyone that ever loved Celeste, her family, her friends, that they do get justice in this really horrific situation. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from there. All right. And for those that have just joined us, we haven't gotten into a lot just yet. I do want to get into the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So I will get into that in just a second, but I do want to say thank you guys so much already for 368 likes. Be sure to keep liking the video. Way of Keith says 40 terabytes, and he still chose a not guilty plea. Doesn't mean that he can't change it. Keith says, must have been the same lawyers as Wendy and Eddie Acefo. You know what? Keith, get away from me with this. Get away from me with this, okay? Nicole, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Nicole says, KEMPIRE, I just wanted to say thank you for introducing me to Basque and Lather. I was diagnosed with PCOS 13 years ago. Their products are amazing. My hair is growing out of the yin yang. I love hearing stuff like that. I love hearing stuff like that. So thank you. Thank you for that, Nicole. Shout out to Basque and Lather. We have some continued partnerships with them coming up. So thank you so much, Nicole. I love hearing that there's something that we've brought, especially a Black-owned business that we brought to the channel that is working for people. So and I'm still using it on my beard. I'm still using it on my beard, but you need 3 months to really see the full effects. So shout out to Basque and Lather. They're not sponsoring today, but they will be back on the channel. They will definitely be back here on the channel. So thank you so much, Nicole, for that. We appreciate you all being here. Exactly. Jules says they appear extremely confident in their evidence. Yeah. Kimia says, do I like Rhode Island? Are you asking us or are you telling us? Are you asking us or are you telling us? All right. Before we get into that, today is brought to you by, over the weekend, I was getting my Hulu on. Hulu is sponsoring today's Tuesday Takeover. Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows. Period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the hit new series Love Thy Nader, featuring superstar model Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud. And revel in show-stopping fashion competitions, including the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff, just thousands of episodes of the very best in reality TV every single day. Because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Yeah, shout out to Hulu for sponsoring today's Tuesday Takeover. It's perfect. I mean, that's like a perfect sponsor for Tuesday Takeover. Yes, thank you all. Yes, I'm very appreciative that our sponsorships are going up. Look, going up. All right. And I love it when we can get a sponsor that we actually use, right? we could actually use. So anyway, so be sure to check it out. And if you didn't see Testaments, I talked about this yesterday. I'll talk about it again since this is Tuesday Takeover. This has nothing to do with Hulu's reality stuff. Testaments, the spinoff from Handmaid's Tale, so good. Love Story, the John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette series that they did, amazing. I watched both over the weekend. So if you were looking for a recommendation, there you go. All right. What's going on? Teeny the Turtle says, I made another live. Hey, Amina. Thank you. Yeah, let me get my coins. She says, is this live? Yes, it is. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I'm enjoying, guys. I think I am fully in when it comes to the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Even though this week's episode had very little Joe Ellen, I think Joe Ellen is a star. For those that don't know who these people are, I will remind you their name. This is Joe Ellen. This is Kelsey. She's the one who has got the sugar daddy, okay? And this is her sugar daddy, allegedly. Yes, apparently he used to date Paula Abdul. Okay, that's him. I still don't understand why she downplays that relationship. Rula, first of all, Rula's situation, I've done videos and talked about this during last week's Tuesday Takeover, excuse me, in regards to Brian, her husband, who she needs to leave. Brian is not faithful to her. Brian is cheating on her. Isn't Brian suing the mistress now? Brian was arrested, for those that may have missed it, I did do a video on this, was arrested because Rula turned him in for putting a tracking device and a recording device on her vehicle. It's a toxic situation. I don't understand why Rula is staying in this marriage. But based off of this week's episode, was Rula the other woman when she got with Brian? Because Alicia says he used to be married to my Spanish teacher. I loved my Spanish teacher. Me too, Alicia. I used to love my Spanish teacher. I love Alicia. She for me is like the best part of I know people have their favorites. Some people love Joe Ellen. Alicia, her mom, and her sisters are my favorite. I rewatched that scene this past week multiple times because they're just so funny. And you know what it is for me too, especially growing up in New York, growing up on Staten Island. I know people like Alicia and a lot of people like these women because they're Italian. I grew up my neighborhood was like Puerto Rican, black, white, but I went to a Catholic high school and it was very Italian, very Irish. And some of my friends, I was like one of two black people in the school. I was like the only black guy in the honors program. So a lot of these folks had families very much like Alicia's or Joe Ellen, very Italian, okay? So that's why I used to love New Jersey too. But here, okay, Toya says, which one's Alicia? Let me bring up Alicia. Alicia was on Watch What Happens Live this past week with Angela. She just naturally is funny, okay? Alicia and her family, naturally just funny. They make me giggle to myself. Let me start from the top in regards to what happened. So we see that Joellen is going on a work trip. What I can appreciate about Joellen is that I don't think she's going to end up like Teresa. She looks like Teresa, but she's not going to end up Teresa, okay? I don't think, because she makes her own money. They have a nice house, but then when they were in the kitchen, I was like, y'all need to renovate. But look, that's how first season housewives always are. Don't be surprised you see them buy a new house and things like that. But I noticed in the kitchen, first of all, they don't have granite counters. I know, look, I'm not judging. I used to, my house didn't have granite counters, but part of the counter was pulled off. I was like, damn. But they are both hardworking individuals, and I appreciate that, okay? So Joellen's going on a work trip. So this is why we don't really see a lot of Joellen in this week's episode, but people are still talking about Joellen because of her sister Jen, who apparently dated her husband, Gary? Is it Gary? I can't see. That's the thing I can't keep up with is with the husband's name. Because there's a Jerry, there's a Gary, there's a Brian, there's a Jared. I can't keep up all the husbands, okay? So Joellen's husband dated her sister Jen, and her sister Jen is coming to help take care of the kids while she's away. And so many people are like, oh my God, the way she was dressed in the house, the way he might have a crush on her. Joellen was chasing her husband, Gary. Oh, I didn't see the refrigerator pageant, Mommy. Did y'all see the refrigerator in Joellen's house? I didn't look. Okay. Just Shorty said, so you're from starting at Staten Island. Y'all always talking about seceding. They used to talk about that a lot when I was a kid. I haven't heard them talk about that in decades. When I was a kid, there was like a big push for Staten Island to secede from the 5 boroughs. I'm glad it never happened. But yeah, it used to be a big conversation. I don't think they've talked about that in decades. But anyway, they need to though. Now that I'm out there, right? Now, I still got property there, though. Not yet. Yeah, I can see that. SS says, Joellen looks more like a Jennifer Aiden 2.0. She doesn't look like a Jennifer Aiden. I think you're talking about personality-wise. She's more like a Jennifer Aiden. She looks like a Teresa, like a mix of Teresa and someone else. Okay. Oh, Pageant Mom said, it was a question. Oh. Look, okay. And then being in the sauna together, everyone's looking at Gary. Oh, he's so turning you guys on. Seeing Gary without his shirt on. Look, Joellen says that her sister flirts with Gary all the time. She's 45 years old and she hasn't had her own family. She doesn't have any kids. So she jokes about using his sperm to have kids. And she's no, that's not going to happen, Joellen. So that's not going to happen. Look. As someone that's familiar with these type of women, I think it's really just joking. I don't think there's really anything there, y'all. And I get it. It doesn't mean that things don't happen in life. We know that. There are all kinds of scandals that people push under the rug that happen in life. I don't believe that there's anything there, to be honest. But it makes a good, juicy story. Wait a minute, Joellen, what the hell is going on here? Yes, Ivory says Teresa and Topanga. Remember Topanga from Boy Meets World? Yes, she's like a good mixture of both of them. Just saying. All right, so Liz and Dolores. This went love. I really do, because I think I've always heard good things about Dolores. I've never heard a bad thing about Dolores. I heard she's a really nice woman from behind the scenes. I interacted with her at the Crappy Awards. She was sweet, but I kept my distance because I was like, she probably has heard me call her boring before. But I kept my distance. I was like, hi. She was like, hello. I know she knew who I was just because of the way she looked at me. And I was just like, nah. It was always so awkward. But she was nice. Some of these housewives could be nasty. She wasn't. And I've always heard nice things about Dolores. I'm building this up to let you guys know what was the reason. Dolores does not need to be there. I get it. She knows these women, but she really brings nothing. It's episode 4. Dolores has brought nothing to this situation. Even when she's trying to bring something or navigate or be a mediator, she's brought nothing. Toy, you're right. I feel the same way. But I'm not surprised that they play this way because I've seen couples like this. I've seen family dynamics like this when it comes to Joellen and the sister and things. Like, it's nothing. It's just like this. It's a weird thing. I'm not saying that I'd be okay with it. Toya says, I would never joke like that. Don't play on my marriage. Oh, look. Oh, yes, Winter. Yes, Winter. I forgot you were there. I'm mad I didn't get to meet you. Winter says, I definitely was at the Crappies. I saw Kemp on the stage. Yes, Winter, I remember you said you were coming. It was a good old time. Shout out to our friends over at Watch What Crappin'. All right. So anyway, I've digressed. So Liz and Dolores, they meet up the next day after Liz's big party that she threw. So Liz, a woman after my own heart, she's, I need to sage out the place. If I was to have a gathering here, I would sage out my place too, and it's no offense to the people that came. I'm saying that you have bad energy. Sometimes you drag energy in from the street or from the train or from the bus or from your house. I sage on a regular, just in general. So I'm like, no, I'm all here for Liz saging out her place, especially after the Rula and Joellen argument. What I found to be interesting was Dolores saying that she felt bad for Rula. And I get it. You feel bad because of the marriage situation. But then she says, and she was a little upset because of the way that Joellen and her husband were addressing Rula. I I have to disagree with Dolores, but I disagree with Dolores a lot in regards to some of the things that Dolores has done over the years, including writing a character letter for Tommy, Dina's ex-husband. I'm not going to even get into that. So that already tells me a little bit about Dolores' character. Just saying. So anyway, so she said she felt bad for Rula. I don't feel bad for Rula. Like, part of me does, but there's another part of me like, no, the way that you wanted your husband to attack another woman, why are you mad? You're more mad at Joellen for sharing information that was posted on social media than you are at your husband, who in that moment wouldn't deny that the affair was ongoing. That's the word. Take a sip every time you hear the word ongoing on Rhode Island. You should be more concerned about that. The Virgo Leo Caps is Dolores male-centered. It's giving that, especially with her reaction to the Rula and Joellen of it all. Anyway. So Liz says she does regret her reaction to the whole Kelsey of it all and how that night ended. Liz feels like Kelsey is projecting because of her own issues with Dino. And we find out in this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, for those that are just joining us, we find out that apparently Kelsey may have, I'm just going to put in quotes, dated Dino when she was, and she says this was 10 years ago. So this was at the height of her meeting her now sugar daddy. And apparently, I guess that's when they weren't exclusive. So she was dating Dino to make him jealous and blah, blah, blah. But Dino liked it when she would not pay him attention. So he would be, I think she sugarcoated the situation. I told you, I feel like Kelsey has been through a lot. She told us she lost her virginity at 14. She met this man and he basically wifed her up, not really wifed her up, basically just took control of her life at 19 years old and has been in control of her life for the last 10 years. So there's something going on there. I feel like she has been groomed in a lot of ways. And I feel like the situation with Dino, who's facing his own criminal charges and allegedly might be involved with the mob. Ooh. So I feel like she's not saying everything, maybe because of, I do feel like there's stuff going on over there in Rhode Island that they're not going to say. So then there's that. Right? Coco says it sounded like she needed to press charges. Like he was following her, showing up, and anytime she was just like, I'm not interested, he would become more interested. I think she sugarcoated what that was. So Dee says, where were her parents? And that's the thing. We haven't met Kelsey's family yet. She's from the area, so her family is there. She's talked about her family, but we really haven't. Have we met? Maybe we did. I'm trying to remember. Did we meet her family? It feels like Liz is more her family and her mother than anything. All right. So Liz says she feels like Kelsey was projecting. For those that don't know who Kelsey is, because I know I need to keep bringing up the pictures. So this is Kelsey, this is Kelsey, and this is Liz. And they had the big fight over the ongoing last week, all right, on the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So she says that she feels like she should apologize to Kelsey, but she also feels like Kelsey should apologize to her. Okay? All right. So they end up having a beach day, Ashley, Rosie, Kelsey, and Alicia. And they end up going to this beach. And I was like, ooh, this beach was like... Even Alicia, who you wouldn't think that Alicia has lived this big life or anything like that. But Alicia, what kind of beach is like this? I go to the beach club. What is this? Ashley brings her kids to this place? The beach did look a little, it reminded me of a beach on Staten Island, but when I say that, the beach on Staten Island doesn't look like that anymore. The beach on Staten Island actually it looks a lot better now, but when I was a kid, it looked like how that Rhode Island beach looked. Like the sand and everything looked like that. But anyway. So Alicia, what is this? This is Ashley's favorite beach? So she brings out the pizza chips, and the pizza chips don't have cheese on it. So Ashley, what's this? Like, where's the cheese? Very Italian. I didn't realize it was called pizza chips, though. I don't know what I thought it was called, but I remember seeing those things growing up. So Alicia also has really deep roots in Rhode Island. Her grandfather owned Superior Bakery. Her aunts worked at the Superior Bakery. Her mom worked at the Superior Bakery, but they didn't know what they were doing, okay? But she has deep roots in Rhode Island, okay? Which is so interesting that she ended up with a man that owns restaurants and things like that as well. So Alicia says, in regards to Rula's husband, Brian was married to her favorite Spanish teacher. And that's where this is why Rhode Island, people are enjoying Rhode Island, because there's so many, it's like an onion. There's so many layers being peeled back. There's so many connections amongst the women. And Alicia says, yeah, Brian used to date my favorite Spanish teacher. And word on the street is that Rula got with Brian when he was married. What? Excuse me? Okay. All right. Basically a hot pocket. Savannah says it's not called a pizza. What's it called? That's what they call it over there in Rhode Island. What do you call it? All right. Exactly. Savannah says they could have went to a nicer beach. Pageant Mom says beaches in New England are yuck. Oh, damn. Exactly. Tabby says Staten Island Boardwalk looks really good now. They did a renovation of it. It's not what it was when I was a kid. All right. Anyway, so Alicia says so there's another rumor. There's so many rumors that have come out, and it's only been 4 episodes. This episode alone, there was like 3 different rumors. So and again, this is any small town, any small area, you see this. Again, me growing up on Staten Island, there were rumors like this about people in their relationships and things like that. But I thought that was interesting. Exactly. Toy says bring the Spanish teacher on the show. If she's still around there, who knows? Who knows? She said that was my favorite Spanish teacher. I'm sure Rula will deny this. Because here's the funny thing. When Alicia was on Watch What Happens Live on Sunday, she says it's almost 90% true. Andy was so smitten by Alicia. And it's so weird to see Andy be smitten with someone because it's not like Andy's looking at them lovingly. Andy's looking at them like oh, I am so happy. It's almost devilish the way he was looking at her but I'm looking at her like, oh my, I love me some Alicia. She's just so freaking funny. All right. Dea, Way of Key says, I lived in New York City for 22 years and never realized there was a Staten Island boardwalk. Have you ever been to Staten Island? Okay. Exactly. D, stop. D says the term Hot Pocket means something else now. Yes, if you missed our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, then you know why. Oh, Savannah says we call them red pizza or pizza strips. It's a thing here. They serve it at the schools here on Fridays. Oh, yeah, because Savannah, you're in Rhode Island. I love it that we got boots on the ground, Savannah. I don't know what we call it here. I haven't been on Staten so long. I'm like, what did we call it? I don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just saying. Andy was looking at Alicia because he knows when he sees a future star, a future fan favorite. She's my favorite already. Winter, that's more than a lot of people. I went to Staten Island twice. That's more than a lot of people that live in New York. A lot of people do not go to Staten Island. And I don't blame you. You're not missing anything. Just say. However, I did have to say, when I was watching these ladies, I was like, I probably could have made my own Real Housewives of Staten Island. The characters, the personalities there alone. Just saying. Okay. Moving on. So Alicia reveals that rumor about the Spanish teacher and Rula. Alicia says that everyone has to walk on eggshells with Liz. So they start talking about Liz. And it's important to note this particular scene because it comes up later when Rosie brings it to Liz about what people were saying, including Alicia. Alicia has deep roots with Liz. A lot. And again, I think this is what people love about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. The women really do have deep connections. Even if they don't know each other personally, there are connections to the families. And I thought this was really interesting because Alicia's mom is best friends with Liz's sister or something like that. So they're connected. Why do you think people are scared of Liz? Do you think Liz is in the mafia? I don't know. I'm like, she does have an energy that's a little, and it reminds me of someone. Who does it remind me of? I don't know. Does it remind you of Danielle Staub a little bit? She doesn't look like Danielle Staub. I don't know. Oh, Tanisha says, yeah, Rhode Island in the house, they are called pizza strips, and we have nicer beaches than they went to. Apparently, because even Alicia said that. She said when she goes to her beach club, it's better. So why? But here's the thing with Ashley. I like Ashley. Ashley seems a little almost like Angela. She can't host kind of thing. Wave Key says Liz just looks intimidating. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think there's anything Big Ange. She reminds me of a Big Ange in a lot of ways, too. I could see that. She does remind me of Big Ange, but Big Ange was lovable. I don't get lovable from Liz, even though Liz will say that she is lovable. Exactly. DC says, it sounds like Liz got tea on everybody, so they tread lightly. And it might be that. It might be that, or it could be her best friend, one of her good friends, Dina, who's in the allegedly is in the mob. So maybe there's more deeper ties in regards to that. Lakia says she reminds me of Drita from Mob Wives. So then that might be the reason why people are scared of her. Even Drita, though, was crying up a storm on House of Villains. She won House of Villains. Congratulations to Drita. This was probably my favorite season of House of Villains. That's a sidebar. I thought it was really good. Yes, Toya, Liz is the one who owns the weed business with her husband. Myra says, I found out about Ashley's backstory with her husband, and whew. You mean from Bachelors? Can you give us a quick rundown of what's their backstory? And I love them as a couple. They seem to be a really sweet couple, but what's the background? What do you got to tell us? All right, let me move on. So they end up talking about Liz and, you know, how people are scared of Liz. And Alicia basically confirms everybody walks on eggshells with Liz. She says even she's scared of Liz and she isn't scared of anyone. We got to see another side of Alicia in this week's episode because she was giving very much sweet, a little less than smart energy. But then you sort of realize, no, there is another side to Liz. All right. Yeah, Teeny says, yes, House of Villains with Drita is good. I enjoy Drita on it. I just love Kate Chastain. Kate Chastain is so just unintentionally funny. She was so good on this season. I wouldn't be mad if they brought her back next season. Same way they bring back New York every single season. But that's me. Oh, she chased him for years on The Bachelor, which is so interesting because I don't get that energy. I don't get pick-me energy from... No, I do get pick-me energy from her. But I don't get that sort of... I feel like he's very much into her. But you know what? That makes even more sense because she seems so worried about him and his well-being and his thoughts and how he's feeling as opposed to them as a partnership. Oh, so now it's making more sense. I like Ashley and I like them as a couple, but the fact that you guys say on The Bachelor she was chasing him this entire time, it makes even more sense because she's so worried about how he's feeling, how he's doing. Girl, you're raising these babies alone. He's too busy at the dam trying to chase his dreams. Look, look, see how I switched up on him real quick? Oh, okay. I love you guys for giving us a rundown. Thank you. Mellow Vibe says, he broke up with her after a few weeks on Bachelor in Paradise. They eventually became friends and started dating again. Look, I'm not mad at that. They have, 2 kids together? I'm not mad at that. Sometimes men are dumb. Sometimes. And when you're in that environment, when it comes to reality television, it doesn't feel real. And sometimes you have to get out of that environment to see, can we make it out of this? Okay, Mellow Vibe says, I personally couldn't get back with someone who dismissed me like that. See, I didn't see it. So maybe the way it was done was really terrible. But when I see them together, I do like, they seem like they really do enjoy each other. But now that I'm unpacking her behavior when it comes to this cafe that he's running and he's prioritizing, she's so focused on him being happy. And yes, you should be happy. You should want your partner to be happy. But now that you guys give us that context with Ashley, and for those that, let me bring up Ashley because who's Ashley? Her. She was on The Bachelor. Now I think about it, I'm like, she's so prioritizing his feelings instead of her and the family. It's now I feel differently about it. Now that you guys tell me that she's given this pick-me energy ever since The Bachelor and she chased him. Don't tell Brooke. Brooke gonna be like, oh, hell no. Lord. They're a beautiful couple. Vicky says she's beautiful. They're beautiful. It's a beautiful cast. Come on, look at this cast, y'all. There's not really a bad-looking one in the bunch. All of them look pretty, right? Shout out to everyone watching on X, those of you watching on Twitch, those of you watching on Facebook. Who's following me on Facebook? The KEMPIRE on Facebook. Who's following me on X? The KEMPIRE on X. Follow me on IG. I'm long overdue for an IG live, so you never know. I might go live today. You never know. Dainty says she is desperate. Damn, why though? Look, why? I don't know. Savannah says she looks like her husband. They both got strong jaw lines. They both got strong jaw. Those kids are going to have some strong jaw lines. Okay? All right. Let me move on from there. Let's move on from there. All right. Joe Ellen's sister. We get the scene with Joe Ellen's sister helping around the house. And everyone's reacting to it because they feel like Joe Ellen's sister, Jen, is trying to get with her husband. I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it if Joe Ellen didn't say that Jen flirts with her husband. And the fact that he originally liked Jen first and Joe Ellen chased him. Yeah. But I feel like how many kids later, they've been together a long time. I don't know if I don't feel like there's anything there. I will say, looking at Joe Ellen, looking at, first of all, I do think Joe Ellen's better looking than her sister. No offense. Not to say that her sister is bad looking. Her sister is beautiful too. But I looked at her, I was like, you are giving cousin, what's her name from Soul Food? I just slipped my brain. What's her name? The cousin. That one. The cousin. What you guys are saying here? Let me say, like Lisa Barlow and her sister. Oh, I forgot about that. I have not caught up on the Rhode Island. Cousin Faith, thank you, Angel. Cousin Faith. And she did, I don't know, like, I just, with the her shoulders out. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. Yes, Cousin Faith. Her shoulders are out. Her hair was like bouncy. It's like she got dressed up to do laundry and to take care of those kids. I love how everyone's coming in now with the Faith. Yes, Cousin Faith. She's giving cousin Faith vibes at first, but I don't think so, y'all. I know that would make a good story. Exactly. Miss Magic says Cousin Faith, a.k.a. Portia Williams. Thank you so much, everyone that's saying that they're following me on all platforms. I appreciate it. So I don't believe anything is happening. Here's context, y'all, to think about is the fact that she's going to be on camera. She knows that they're filming. So that's probably why she dressed up the way that she dressed up, why her hair was done. I don't think she was trying to do anything with her husband. I think because they were filming, she said, let me wear my cutest outfit. And I know you're probably thinking, that's her cutest outfit? It's Rhode Island. Just calm down. Okay? Exactly. Mara says that's a black household staple. I don't know why I forgot her name. It literally was in my brain and then it left. Hussy mode. Lord, Nicole said she was in hussy mode. I really believe she was dressing up for the cameras and not dressing up for him. I know everyone on the internet thinks that Jen is trying to go after Joe Ellen's husband. I don't know if I believe that, especially knowing women very much like this. Okay? But here we are. Two Foxy said, I have not watched one episode of Rhode Island. You're missing out because I think you actually would like it. Just saying. AB, thank you so much for the super chats. AB says, theory. Why did it come in as two? Do you send two super chats? Let me shimmy since that's $20 and it's the same thing. AB says, theory. When Kelsey said ongoing, she meant Dino's drug investigation, not the affair. Well, the ongoing storyline feels like a deflection to steer away from the real issue. And that's one thing that we will notice with Housewives. A lot of times what they're arguing about is not what they're really arguing about. So you might be right. I could see that. Or maybe the ongoing could be the fact that she's uncomfortable with being around him. So let's not invite him over here because of my history with him. But I'm glad that Liz and Kelsey got over it because they do seem like they're close. It's like almost like a mother-daughter relationship. Pay attention to these relationships today. Pay attention to how it's playing out now because we know how these housewives evolve and change over years. I love Rosie on the show. I think Rosie is a great addition to this show. And it's not just because she's a Taurus with a Leo moon like me.
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
But I feel like she has the potential to be an Ashley Darby, and I don't like that. Meaning that she will be a producer's pet. She'll do what the producers want her to do to stay on the show. Because you also have to keep in mind, she comes from TV. She's always wanted to be on TV. Now she wants to be a star. I also feel like Rosie will do anything to get to a certain level. Hence, marrying this man that allegedly they're saying during the season, I don't know if it's going to play out, that he's gay. I don't know. That's the rumor. That's my exclusive. Cite your sources. Okay? And I don't feel like she loves this man. Anyone else? I don't feel like she loves this man. I don't get love between these two. I almost get beard. What?
How you doing?
But did she marry this man because he had a little coin? Maybe. But I see that element from her. So fast forward 5 years from now, y'all just let me know if I'm right. Deborah says, I get that feeling too, Kempire. So Savannah says she doesn't even like her own husband. That's the vibe that I'm getting. I'm sure during the reunion when people ask that question, she'll be like, guys, it's an edited show. I love him. He's like my best friend. Watch. Remember what I just said and then remind me come the reunion when she's asked about it. Okay, that's just how I feel. I still like her though. It's our season, Rosie. It's our season. Happy birthday. All right, let's move on. So we had that scene with Joelle and Sister Jen helping with the kids at home, okay? Then we have Alicia and her family. This was my favorite scene of the episode. I rewatched it multiple times today. Coco, careful. Coco said, oh, she's a Taurus. What you trying to say? Alicia's main storyline this season is the fact that she would like her name on the house, her name on a business. She just would like a little bit more from her fiance. I think her fiance seems like a decent guy. But I also think that he's your typical, like maybe machismo in regards to if you're not married to me, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. You know what I mean? But it seems like the family loves him. She seems like she loves him. She also has seen divorce in her family. So and mind you, all the aunts were talking about their husbands cheating. So I could see why Alicia has an issue with commitment. She talks about being the runaway bride, how she's gotten really close to getting married and it never happening. So I'm thinking maybe the reason why she stayed with her guy, because they ended up having a kid together. Do you guys think that they should get married? I think they will get married if he puts like her name on the business. I can understand maybe him not putting her name on the house. Put her name on the business. If she's contributing to the business, put her name on it. It's a business. And I think if he did that, I think she might be more open to getting married. The prenuptial agreement, though, she should definitely, within that fight for if we do end up getting a divorce, I get the house. And we get to stay and live in the house. If that's your only sticking point, Alicia, you should fight for that in your prenup. You would want your daughter to be taken care of. You don't want her and the mother to be on the street because then that tells me a lot about your character as a man. Even though I don't think that he would. Based on what we've seen of this guy, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a genuine guy. He seems like he loves her and her family. And her family is a lot. Her family is a lot, and they like him. So she's over there having a moment before her family even comes in the house. She's looking at, oh, that's a dead bird. She's funny. You could probably sit and just have a camera on her and her randomly talking to herself. She's just naturally funny, Alicia. For those that don't know who Alicia is, let me show you her picture. This is Alicia, okay? So apparently Alicia says, because she mentioned before that her grandfather had the Superior Bakery and all the aunts worked for the Superior Bakery. She also lets us know that Liz's sister and Alicia's mom are best friends. Liz loves the aunts, and I get why. Funny. They're all just funny, big personalities, okay? And Rula comes over, Ashley comes over, and Ashley's, I don't have my support animal with me, which is Rosie. Rosie wasn't there. This is Ashley's first time hanging out with the other ladies without Rosie. But here's the thing. They are so connected. because Rula arrives and she says that the family has known Billy's family, Alicia's fiance, has known their family for 30 years and has patronized their businesses and vice versa because her family owns jewelry stores and things like that. Okay? Yeah, and I love the way that Alicia says Jane's Fonda. Like Jane's Fonda, apostrophe S Fonda. That's how she says Jane Fonda and her exercise routines. She's hilarious. So Liz says she wants to make things right with Kelsey. She does. She wants to do that. Alicia confirms that her name is not. So they end up talking about her name not being on the house. And Alicia says that she has to ask Billy for money. She doesn't like having to do that. On Watch What Happens Live, she says that Billy gives her credit card. So that's how she really pays for everything. But she likes to have cash in the house. Understandably. I like to have cash in the house too. Not a lot of cash, but I like to have cash in the house too. But she says that she's on the credit cards and things like that. So this is when Alicia talks about being a runaway bride, that she wants more of a commitment from Billy. She's had other relationships, and those relationships sometimes have almost gotten to marriage, but then she will pull away. Okay? But she talked about her commitment issues, and Rula, of all people to give any sort of advice, but she does run a financial consulting firm, and she gives her some advice, some financial advice. You're entitled because you're taking care of the home. You have a child with him. You live here with him. Rula then talks about some of the bumps that are going on in her own marriage. And the aunts start chiming in. And one of the aunts was just like, yeah, my husband wandered. And Alicia said, he wandered? What? He wandered. So they can't even understand each other. If you can't understand these ladies and these women can't understand each other, it's gonna be rough this season, okay? Rula says it's hard to get over the lying and the twisting that Brian did in regards to the affair. Alicia aunt says that her husband had a lot of affairs with a lot of women. This is a different aunt. That was the blonde aunt. The other aunt that said that he wanted was the one with the brunette. I know you probably can't even keep up. So they've all dealt with cheating and things like that. So she says that he did it with a lot of women. Rula says Brian is a great provider, but what sticks with her is what the aunt said about, do you want to spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder? And I feel like she's going to. First of all, if you met this man, allegedly, according to Alicia's 90% true, when he was married to the Spanish teacher, and he's cheated on you and apparently could be currently cheating on you, I don't think he's going to stop. And then everyone's looking at this man like, Rula, you fighting over this man? Brian? What is the redeeming quality about Brian? The fact that he's a doctor? He's a foot doctor. Shout out to all the foot doctors. Look, I'm not taking away from that. But really? Are we really like fighting over Brian? But here's the thing. I don't think she wants to get divorced again. She already went through a divorce. I don't know if they don't have a prenuptial agreement. I don't know the motivation. Or is she just a pick-me? Is she just insecure? Maybe she doesn't want to fail at marriage again because culturally they'll be talking about her. Here she go, another divorcee, and she won't be able to get remarried again. I don't know. Sometimes that's the motivation. I don't know if she's going to give us the truth, but I definitely see a divorce in her future. Anyone else? I see another divorce in her future. But I like Rula, especially when Rula goes with the group event at the end, and Rula's over there with the shaker. Rula's over there making drinks and having a good old time. I was like, this is a Rula I haven't seen. But Rula has a lot of story going on. So she's actually a really good addition to this season because there's so much going on between the show and offline. I'm sure it's going to come up during the reunion. All of the legality stuff, him putting a tracking device, him of all people putting a tracking device in her car. But he probably wants to make sure that he knows where she is so that when he's doing his thing, he knows when she's coming home. So he can cheat in peace. If she's coming to the podiatrist's office and one of his jump offs is there, Arturo says, I like Rula too. Rula had me laughing during that group event. She brought the shaker she brought the little, what is that thing? It's called a shaker, right? She brought the shaker and she was making her own drinks. She's sipping her wine. She was drinking. I said, okay, Rula, this is a Rula I like. But the other part of Rula that I like is because she is a smart cookie when it comes to finances and being a boss on her own. The only person that's not necessarily a boss on their own, but she really is a boss, but she doesn't realize her power yet, is Alicia. All the other women work or do for themselves. Oh, okay, no, Kelsey. It's not too late for Kelsey, though. It's not too late. Okay? Millie said he's not a smart cheater. He really isn't. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. This is our Tuesday Takeover. We're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. You guys keep coming on my TikTok saying, Kempire, what are your thoughts on Real Housewives of Rhode Island? Are you talking about Rhode Island? Yes. I haven't given them their separate recap yet. Maybe I'll try it. And maybe at the end of the season, I'll try and do a separate recap with them, and I'll see if you guys show up. But if I get a couple of hundred of y'all in here, I'm like, come on. All right, let me fast forward. Okay, then we have this scene, and shout out to the auntie, Alicia's aunts, because one of my favorite things was Alicia's mom when talking about Rula's husband, Brian. She said, I just hope and pray you somehow hurt him. My favorite scene. Rosie and Ashley hang out with her kids, and this is just Rosie talking about she's not sure if she's ready to have kids. She doesn't know if she wants to have kids. Her and Rich were on the same page when they first got married, but it seems like Rich wants to have children now. Rosie's, I love kids. I love my nephew, but I also love leaving them with their parents. So I don't know. I don't know about Rosie, and I think she does want children eventually. I don't think she wants children with him. I don't think she loves this man at all. I think she is a social climber. I think she's an opportunist. I'm sorry. I do. I have to be honest with you guys what I think of her. I still like her for the show. I think she gives great confessional. I think she's funny as all hell. But I also believe that she is an opportunist. I think she wants to be a star. I think she wants to use the show to be a star. I think she will be a star, to be honest. I definitely think she will be a star. And I think, we talk astrological signs, I think she's well balanced because she's a Taurus, but that Leo moon, very much like me, we are destined to be stars. But I'm not an opportunist. I'm willing to do the work. I don't know. I don't know if she's willing to do the work. But okay. All right. Let me see. Okay. Let's move on from that situation. So we have Liz and Kelsey. They finally sit down to have a conversation. Kelsey comes over to help Liz clean out the boat because Jerry has sold the boat. You remember the narrative. Jerry was leaving every 3 weeks. He was gone, and 1 week he'd be in town. Okay? Look, he says, okay, Kempire, tell us how you really feel. Arturo says, not a fan of kids. I don't think I want children either. But people always say that I would be a great father. Maybe in the next life. All right. So Liz and Kelsey finally have a conversation about what happened at her party. Okay. Okay. This is why people find Liz scary, because Kelsey comes over and she's helping her remove the things. And that was the last time she was seen alive. This is why people are scared of Liz. And that's the last time she was seen alive. So Liz says that she wasn't proud of the reaction that she had and says that the ongoing word triggered her. Kelsey then gives us the history of what happened between her and Dino. And apparently, Dino, 10 years ago, her and Kelsey and Dino had something while she was just talking to the guy she's with now. Okay, they weren't exclusive, she says at the time. Are you guys exclusive now? He has a whole other woman in Miami. Okay? I agree. Myra says Kelsey is gorgeous. Yeah, Kelsey is a beautiful woman. Not much of a personality, but beautiful woman. Sorry. But not sorry. I'm being honest. All right? She gives us the history about her and Dino. And based on what she described, it was disturbing. It's like Dino stalked her, basically, and wouldn't take no for an answer. So she says that she has PTSD from her interactions with Dino. So I don't know how she could be in a party with him. So maybe that's part of the reason why she didn't want him to come over. So she just used the excuse of the ongoing instead of saying, I'm not comfortable being around him. Maybe. I don't know. But they make peace, and I was here for Kelsey and Liz making peace because I didn't like the fight that they had between them because I like their mother-daughter relationship that seems to be happening there. But anyway, all right. So then we have this group event at the end of the episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island where Rosie hosts the ladies on this sort of a train track situation where they race with these train tracks and they end up at this beautiful place where they end up having drinks. Rula at this particular point already had a bunch of drinks. She brought her shaker with her. Okay. So here's the thing. Before they even get on to this stuff, Kelsey opened that beer bottle with her teeth. I was like, everybody was nervous she was going to crack her teeth. That already confirmed for me that Kelsey has had a hard life. She opening bottles with her teeth? You know those little, you need a special thing? I have never attempted, and I never will. I go to the dentist tomorrow. I will never attempt to open a beer bottle with my teeth like that. Oh, hell no. But she did it. She was able to do it. And then she talked about how she ate McDonald's that she threw in the garbage from the night before. Ew. I'm like, okay, fine. Here's the thing, though. We had another scandal in the car because Rosie talked about how she had colitis a few years ago when she was working for the news station and she took medical leave. Kelsey dropped tea and said a word on the street is that she had an affair with one of the higher-ups and she was fired. So Rosie, I know I have to keep showing you guys the pictures because you guys don't know. So apparently Rosie, my Taurus sister here with the Leo moon, allegedly had an affair with one of the higher-ups at the news station and she got fired. And honestly, Kelsey saying that, it was confirmed for me because when they flash back to the scene, and then I got used to working, not working, and I was just like, magically, the colitis disappeared. And I said, and so Kelsey was right. She had an affair, allegedly, with a higher-up over there at the news station. Wouldn't shock me, because what did I just tell you? I feel like Kelsey's an opportunist. I feel like Kelsey will do whatever it is that's going to take her to the next level. Didn't I tell you that? So Kelsey comes out with this rumor and says that this is what the word on the street. And she says all of Rhode Island knew. Foxy says, was she married? I'm thinking no, because remember, she's only been married to Rich for a short period of time. But was he married? That's the question. Was the higher-up married that she had the affair with? Who knows? Myra says, unfortunately, I believe it. Unfortunately, but fortunately for us, I believe it too. SS says, I don't believe it. Live chat. Do you believe the rumor that Rosie had a relationship with a higher-up and that's why she was fired? Or you believe she had colitis and it magically disappeared?
Lies! The lie!
Arturo! Who told you this? Arturo says Taurus women are notorious for sexing coworkers. Where did you get that from? I've never heard that in my entire life.
Lies! The lie!
Oh my God. January saying, January, is that your name? I love that name. You have a beautiful smile too. January says, welcome to New England and all of its effery. It's not just New England, because Staten Island, Brooklyn. I'm telling you, I could do my own reality show. Don't let me find one. I'll produce it. Wait, Tony says, yes, that's my Taurus sister. Are you serious? See, it must be a Taurus woman thing. Because as a Taurus man, never, ever. Let me go text Brooke. Brooke gonna be like, never. I can't even see Brooke doing that, but I'm gonna ask. When Brooke does her recap, please bring that to her recap. It says, KEMPIRE wants to know, because someone said during the live chat, don't try and make it seem like I'm saying that. Because y'all know how y'all start trouble trying to relay messages and saying, KEMPIRE says that Taurus women be sexing their coworkers. It was Arturo. Okay? It wasn't me. Don't be throwing me under the bus. Oak Cliff says, my daughter and mom are Taurus women. That's a no. But you don't know what happened. Arturo says, I have 3 Taurus coworker females, and they have all slept with coworkers. I don't know. Foxy says Brooke would never. That's what I'm saying. If she's currently live, we're going to go into the chat in a second. Okay? We're going to go into the chat in a second. Oh, y'all made me laugh so bad the back of my head tightened. Ooh, that's a good laugh. All right, let me relax because I don't feel good. Woo, child. We're back. We're back, guys. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget, you can hear a cleaned up, edited version of our live recaps on the KEMPIRE podcast. So subscribe today. Who subscribed to the KEMPIRE podcast? Let me know, and let me know if you've given us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Okay? Also, you can hear our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap there right now. Also, you can hear, if you're a Club KEMPIRE member, our KEMPIRE After Dark live show. So if you missed it and you wanted to hear it, become a Club KEMPIRE member today. You can hear it there. Okay? Winter, I'm not surprised. Winter the Aries saying this. Winter says, as long as they're both consensual adults, what's the issue? Laughing out loud. I know Aries women, though. Aries women. I know Aries women very well. Okay? Teeny says, not a Taurus thing at all. It might just be a Tauro's co-workers. Thanks, Way of Keith. Way of Keith says, I'm subscribed. Appreciate you, Way of Keith. All right, so here's what goes down. Okay, here's what goes down at this event. It goes down because, first of all, when Rosie's in the cart with Liz, she asks, so what do you think about Ashley? Rosie is good for the show. I'm just going to say that, okay? Rosie is good for the show. She's in the cart with Liz, and she's, so what do you think about Ashley? And Liz is like, what? Damn, you're like a straight shooter. I can see them becoming close, Rosie and Liz. And so this is when Rosie says that people are scared of you because Liz says, I wasn't too sure about Ashley because she didn't really talk to me at the July 4th event. And Rosie was like, maybe because people are scared of you. So Rosie ends up bringing it up again later about people being scared of Liz. And then she basically throws Alicia under the bus. Remember, Alicia, you said this about Liz as well. Alicia loses it. You're a snake. You're a troll. Why would you say something like that? I never said anything like that. Rewind the tape. Basically, that's what Alicia said. And what we saw in this moment was Rosie being a good housewife and bringing and pulling people in and calling people out. Because again, this is filmed. Liz is going to see what Alicia said. But Alicia gets paranoid because she's been friends. And she knows her mom is best friends with Liz's sister. So there's deep family connections, and that's going to cause a rift. I'm just concerned because we see what's happening with Shamia and Portia on RHOA. I'm concerned that this show might affect real life friendships that aren't even on the show. Like Liz's sister and Alicia's mom. But the way that Alicia flipped out, I wasn't surprised. But that was another side of Liz Alicia that we haven't seen. But the way Alicia came back and her hair was in her face and the smoke is going like that, you're a troll. But I thought it was also really sweet. When they move away from the group and they have their own conversation, Rosie and Alicia. I know, you guys are going to get so confused. This is Alicia. This is Rosie. Okay? So they end up going to the side because Liz was flipping out on her. I'm not Liz. Alicia was flipping out on Rosie. So they end up having a side conversation, and so quickly they move on, which is perfect. Very perfect for Real Housewives. But I also don't think Alicia can be really mad at anyone. And Rosie's like, I want us to really be able, I don't want you to really hate me. Like, you're saying you forgive me, but you really hate me. Alicia, no. Exactly. Toya says, Alicia was wrong for snapping on the girl. No, it was a great reality television moment. It also showed us a different side of Alicia. I was here for it, especially with her hair being all wild and smoke and everything like that. I said, this is a mess. Toya says, Team Rosie Posey. Rosie wasn't wrong. Because she really did say this. You said this on camera. We're going to see it later. I think they're going to do everything in their power to move on because there are deep family connections between Alicia and Liz. Exactly. SS says Rosie knows the assignment. Toya says Alicia said some really disrespectful things. Do you think it was disrespectful or was it honest? I don't think it was disrespectful. I think it was honest because apparently all of these women do walk on eggshells with Liz. And I think Liz loves it. Hey, Liz, you love it. All right, let's move on because I do still have more stories to talk about. Since we're talking about the Real Housewives, let's quickly talk about a story that's playing out between Pinky Cole and Phaedra Parks. So I thought this was such a blip. It was such a Housewives moment when Cynthia, Pinky, and K. Michelle had that scene. And they said, let's pray for Phaedra's wigs. I didn't know that that would turn into a big thing. Because, yeah, I don't think Phaedra's wigs are bad. But Phaedra's wigologist came out basically addressing Pinky. And in the comment section, Phaedra took some shaded Pinky saying, a dirty, dry tennis ball head could never. And now, Pinky, they dragging you, girl. They are dragging you. Okay? Because now I can't unsee it. One minute they called you Mr. Clean. Now they're calling you a dirty, dry tennis ball head. Could never. I said, damn. Phaedra cleared in 2 seconds. Pinky came back under the comment section and she says, hey friend, you right. Her hair's always laid. Because they came out with so many different examples of Phaedra Parks in her. There's so much that we can say about Phaedra Parks. I can't say that she has bad wigs. I don't always love her wigs, but for the most part, she doesn't have bad wigs. I probably wish you would stop looking like an Instagram model, but that's me personally, okay? So Pinky responds and says, hey friend, you right. Her hair's always laid. She says, too bad it might be a dirty tennis ball underneath, just like me. That's the thing. We also have seen Phaedra with her natural hair on this show. Not me defending Phaedra. Oh, yes. We've seen Phaedra's hair before on this show, so she don't have a dirty tennis ball under there. Oh, Lord, I can't. She says, too bad it might be a dirty tennis ball underneath, just like me. Phaedra Parks, I wish you could say that same exact thing in your next confessional, but I don't know when the camera's coming back to get you. So it's like she's alluding that Phaedra won't be back next season. What do you guys think? Look, Phaedra hasn't really brought much at all, but it's only, 3 episodes. It will be interesting to see what the rest of the season plays out. If anything, for me, Phaedra is a high-priced friend of. And Cynthia should be upset because Cynthia carried basically the last episode in between being, not carried, that's a big, I'm not going to say she carried, but she was very much involved this last episode, more so than Phaedra has been involved at all so far this season. Cynthia should be upset that you're getting paid friend of, and Phaedra's getting paid as a full-time housewife. Just saying. Not trying to cause any shade or trouble, but okay, dirty, dry tennis ball head could never. Ooh. All right, so that's what's going on when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Pinky versus Phaedra. Lord. You know what? It's B. Gary, is that you? Thank you so much for being a member. We ain't seen Phaedra's hair in seasons. She could be a scallywag too now. Not if you're wearing wigs. That's a protective style. Stinky Lulu says, Kemp defending Phaedra. We've come a long way. But this is why I say be team you, because at any given moment, I could be defending her. At some particular moment, I could defend Ashley Darby.
Lies! The lie!
Maybe? Look, maybe? I don't know. All right, so I wanted to talk about that. Let me make sure I have all my things that I want to talk about because I have a couple more stories. I got 2 major stories that I need to get to, but I appreciate you all being here this entire time. So before we move on to the next story, I do want to say congratulations. There were 2 premiere parties that happened yesterday. Devil Wears, these next few weeks, the movies are going to have me in a chokehold. I don't go to the movies that often. However, I'm going to be at the movie theater often because Devil Wears Prada comes out next week. They looked amazing. Look at them. Anne Hathaway looks so gorgeous in this red dress. They looked amazing on the red carpet. They had the big premiere party here in New York City at Lincoln Center. I wasn't invited. Would I have gone if I was invited? I would have really highly considered it. I was outside last week. Y'all saw I went to the Banana Republic event. That was a good old time. What's his name? Joshua Jackson was there looking all cute. Yup. Anyway, I digress. But also last night, there was the Michael Jackson movie premiere. This is the cast of Michael Jackson, the Michael movie. Jafar's in the middle. Nia Long looks gorgeous. Okay. Lorenz Tate looks gorgeous too. Okay. Coleman looks amazing too. The fact that Coleman's career really has topped off in his 40s and 50s now, never give up on your dream, y'all. Never give up on your dream. Congratulations. Now he's like a leading man. I love that. Did you guys see the clip that I posted in regards to Coleman on Saturday Night Live? I posted it on X. It went viral on X. It hit that scene, that little skit that he did was amazing on SNL. And I never really loved SNL. But anyway, so the movie is coming out next week. The Michael Jackson movie. That comes out next week as well. Or does it come out this week? It comes out this week. Never mind. Hold on. It comes out this week. But there have been premieres all around the world. So this was the Los Angeles premiere. The entire Michael Jackson family, including Jermaine. Janet didn't go. But word on the street, Janet's not even in the movie. I know. I've heard mixed things about the movie. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things about the movie. I'm going to go see it for myself to be a judgment. But look at the Jackson family. LaToya's there in the middle. I know Jermaine's going to be mad at this photo because they caught him from the side profile. Jermaine's side profile is disturbing. I'm sorry. Jermaine's side profile is disturbing. If you thought the hairline was disturbing, his side profile, okay, y'all see my side profile? You see my ear? His ear is like this. I'm gonna just extend it like this. But then it's like disturbing. His energy is disturbing to me. I told you when we reported about some sort of beef between Janet and Jermaine, I said to you, I feel like this is Jermaine's time to be back in the spotlight off the strength of his brother, his late brother. I feel like he's one of those parents, like stage parents right now. This is supposed to be Jafar's moment, but he's really making it his moment. So I get icky vibes seeing him. Congratulations to Jafar. I heard he did a really great job as Michael in this movie. But there goes the Jackson family clan. I know you're probably thinking, I thought we were black. Do you guys see Asa? Asa looks great. Asa there on the far left in the, what's that, leopard? Y'all know Asa from Shahs of Sunset. Everyone's always asking, where's Asa? There goes Asa's still there. All right. All right. I couldn't tell you who's who from this. Jafar's in the middle with his girlfriend or wife. I don't know who she is. Okay. We've got Jackie's there. We've got Jermaine looking the other way. We got Michael's kids there. Prince is in the back. Did Blanket not go? Do I not see Blanket here? Blanket didn't go to this premiere? I didn't see any pictures with Blanket. All right. And then you're probably wondering where Paris is. Paris does not approve of this movie, so she has not been a part of any of it. She's basically suing the estate. And not one black spouse. Wait, there was one black woman there. Hold on the far right next to Asa. Okay, I see one black wife. I think she's a wife. I don't know. Maybe not. Daughter? I don't know. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Anyways, congratulations. Devil Wears Prada comes out next week. This week, the Michael Jackson movie comes out. I will be seeing... you know what I'm going to see? I'm going to go see You, Me, and Tuscany this week. Then I'll go see the Michael Jackson movie when you guys are all at work next week. When you guys are all at work, that's when I'll go see the Michael Jackson movie. Because I can't with the theaters and stuff like that. But I do want to see it. Yeah, he was at the Germany one, I think he was. I know. This is where we got this photo. This photo of... Where is it? Of Prince. All the interactions I've seen with Prince on the far left, all the interactions I've seen, he seems so lovely, so down to earth. Didn't he just graduate college too? We're not gonna talk about are they biologically Michaels, okay? I know that's what you guys are thinking. Michael said that these are his children. Very much if we were talking about adopted children, or those are those people's children. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Deborah's, yes, Blanket was at the other premiere. That's where he wore this outfit. This is where he wore the outfit. He's very quiet, very demure. All right. All right. V says Blanket is Michael's biological son. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Maura, for the super chat and for being a member. Maura says she needs a new money bag. Who needs? I wish sometimes y'all would, because sometimes when I finally get to the super chat, I don't even know what we're talking about. Who needs a new money bag? Who needs a new money bag, Moira? I missed it. Maybe you guys can remind me in the chat. Foxy said, nah. Stinky Lulu said, I should go watch both movies back to back in one day. Who wants to sit around in a movie theater back to back? Not me. Yes, Nayoka, we were just talking about Asa. Asa she was a part of the family photo. All right, Asa body is bodying too. Asa looks great. Y'all keep asking for Asa to come back. Asa's like, I'm good. I'm over here in the Jackson family. Just saying. All right, let's move on. Let me get to some of these other stories because some of you have been waiting for me to talk about this Brandy and Kelly Rowland story. So I saw this. I didn't realize that it was going viral on X in regards to this clip. Shout out to my friends over at the We Sound Crazy podcast. So those are some friends I've known a long time. They did an interview with Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland's in Atlanta working on her next album. I'm excited to hear what this next album looks like. Kelly sat down for a conversation to talk about music, life, career, things like that. You also know that Kelly Rowland was on the Boy Is Mine tour. She was phenomenal on it. I was like, wow, Kelly, you did a hell of a job. If you missed I did a whole review here on YouTube about it. Just Google Schmoogle it. Mods, if we can find it and post it in the chat, please do. So Kelly talked about the tour in this new interview. And so a lot of people were saying when she talked about the tour, she never mentioned Brandy. And I have my thoughts, and I talked about this before recently, because you remember there was a whole conversation about Beyoncé not coming to take a picture with Brandy during the tour, which spurred a lot of conversation. Brandy never liked Beyoncé. And then you remember Brandy's new memoir, which you can see here in the studio, came out, #1 New York Times bestseller, came out, and she talked about how Rodney used that as a dig at her. He's, oh, you're over here, I'm going to be over here making 5 million albums, selling 5 million albums with Beyonce. He took that as a dig at Brandy. So people have said for a long time that Brandy doesn't like Beyonce or whatever. But you may recall, if you know the history, Kelly and Brandy were friends, like close friends, for a long time. So I'm just giving you the history before we get into what people are saying now, okay? Yes, Brandy and Kelly are both Aquariuses. They have the same exact birthday. So it's no surprise to me that they were close. They used to be close. Like, they were close for a long time. Then there was a break in that friendship. And then it seemed like they became close again. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was like a few years ago. Not that long. It was probably like 10 years ago, where they seemed to be close again. And I don't know what happened there. Like, I don't have any tea in regards to what may be in the downfall of the breakup in that friendship. Anyway, so let me just remind you of some of the tea, because I talked about this in the previous video. There was an interview that Kelly Rowland did years ago when Wendy Williams was still on radio. We're going to play this under fair use. And it basically seemed as if that Kelly confirms that there is an issue between her and Brandy. Read between the lines. She doesn't say that. She tries to deflect. She's from the school of Matthew Knowles and PR. And it does feel like she confirms that, yeah, the friendship that she once had with Brandy at this time, this is years ago. This interview was probably like 20 plus years ago. Okay. So take a listen to what Kelly said in this Wendy Williams interview.
Brandy and Serena, can I just say in my mind, I love picturing you girls shopping together.
Why?
I don't know, because everybody's got credit cards and everybody's got a convertible.
Funny.
In my mind.
All roads lead back to Wendy Williams, legend, icon.
I love that friendship, and I was very sad to find out that the friendship is not what it used to be, according to sources.
Yeah, you can't believe everything.
Okay, break it down.
I'm here to tell you.
Yes,
but
she showed up. Go figure. we had a little bit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We didn't think you were coming.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? I still admire Brandy.
I'm sorry, this interview is so legendary to me because I remember it like clockwork. But for those that are watching on YouTube, take a look at the pictures. There are years between these two pictures. The body language is telling me a whole lot. The body language in these pictures are telling me a whole lot about this friendship. I don't remember what year the one from on the left is from, but it's years ago. And then here on the right is from the tour. I think they just took this picture because they didn't want people to say that there was any sort of issue. But the body language is, even in this picture, you could tell it's not what it was back when. And if I had another old photo from when they were really bestie Westies, you could see in the body language that it was very different back then. Like they were close. But here you could tell that they were like, we need to take a picture with you and Brandy. Take a picture with you and Brandy. Just saying. I'm giving you the history before we get to the situation. Okay? Exactly. DC says the body language don't lie. Amara says, I'm loving Brandy's book. Me too. I loved it. Brandy's book is our official book club selection. I know I didn't say it officially. I'm going to do a video talking about some of my favorite moments. So if you haven't read Brandy's book, go read it. It is a part of the community. It is our official first ever book club selection phases. All right? All right. But anyway, back to this. I'm just going to rewind this a little bit.
Yes.
We didn't think you were coming.
Whatever. No, but you know what? I still admire Brandy. And the thing is that, like,
even after the murder she committed?
Yeah. Come on.
Who you're hearing is Charlamagne the God. That's who you're hearing, because this is how he started his career, was with Wendy Williams.
Is
the truth.
I can't say what happened there, but I can say that Brandy inspires me with her sound, and she's really an amazing vocalist.
Yes.
And I love her work that she.
Do y'all see the deflection? You see how she pivoted? You saw how Kelly pivoted. She went to Brandy. If you were still bestie Westies with Brandy, wouldn't you just say, that's my girl. I love this girl. Okay? I love this girl. No, she said, Brandy, I love her music. I love her sound. She inspired me for this record.
It is
like
what
that.
it is.
The truth.
I can't say what happened there, but I can say that Brandy inspires me with her sound, and she's really an amazing vocalist.
Yes.
And I love her work that she's done, so she inspired me for this record.
And so you guys aren't the same as you used to be. And let me just remember why. The reason why is because she was asking you a lot of questions regarding Beyonce and why do you support Beyonce and so on and so forth. And you don't like it when people get between you and Beyonce who call themselves your friends, because we'll do it up here, but we're just your friends for 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to try to drive a wedge between you all the best we can.
Oh, everybody will.
But we're not the ones who go to the mall with you. We don't go to Le Deux with you and drink Sky vodka.
Le Deux.
Whatever. I know what you celebrity girls do. I read the tabloids. Right? So she tried to drive a wedge between you and Beyonce. Why are you letting, them promote Beyonce like that? And you just couldn't take it, right?
I'm not answering that question.
Audience.
So why wouldn't she answer the question? If it wasn't true, you see, I remember this interview like it was yesterday, because I was like, oh, so she basically confirmed what Wendy was saying here.
I heard Brandy had a lot of hate.
Why are you letting, them promote Beyonce like that? And you just couldn't take it.
I'm not answering that question.
Audience, witness.
I heard Brandy had a lot of hate for Beyonce.
Witness.
No.
Yes.
No.
Little envy, jealousy. Brandy was that it girl at one point.
No.
Witness. See? We see. It's okay.
OMG.
It's okay, pal. So now, have you let go of your friendship with Serena? Because she seems like a nice girl, too. Please tell me.
Serena is like my best bud.
Good.
Definitely.
Do y'all notice that? So it's because you see how easily she was able to answer. For me, that last part confirmed exactly what Wendy was saying. Because when asked about Serena Williams, she was like, that's my best bud. So basically confirming that she was no longer bestie Westies with Brandy. I had to give you that because in a recent interview with our friends over at the We Sound Crazy podcast, this is what Kelly had to say about being on tour with Brandy and Monica. And everyone is pointing out she doesn't even mention Brandy at all.
I thought it was such an excellent display of sisterhood with you and Monica and Brandy and Keisha Cole and Money Long and Maya and just all of the ladies who just it was just such a positive, loving environment, and it was just positivity. You felt it backstage. SWV coming out in Miami.
I know.
Trina,
all
the cool guests. Yep.
Miss Patty.
Yes.
I mean, it just to me represented such excellence, but I love just the girl power that was in that building. I felt the energy, and it was just just salute. I just had to say that on this platform.
Shout out.
Look how beautiful Kelly looks here. Y'all know I love me some Kelly Rowland. And y'all know when Kelly comes on my couch for my daytime talk show, I'll be like, Kelly, so what's going on between you and Brandy? Oh, it's happening. Y'all, don't tell her. Don't tell her, because, you know, we want to go, Come on, focus.
UPC for sure, for just putting that all together, and, you know, the ladies being very welcoming on the tour. I think me and Mo had some of the best conversations. And when Maya...
So a lot of people pointed out the fact that she doesn't mention Brandy in this interview at all. When you're talking about a tour that is Brandy and Monica, the Boys Mind tour.
Together, and the ladies being very welcoming on the tour. I think me and Mo had some of the best conversations. And when Maya came on, it'd been years since I'd seen her. So we got a chance to catch up, but it was just incredible.
So you even mentioned Maya, who I loved on the tour, don't get me wrong, who basically just came to fill in because of Money Long having health issues. You even mentioned Maya, and you have history with Brandy. That was your bestie Westie at one particular point.
All the ladies were just absolutely incredible.
And it was a reminder of how high the bar should be, because y'all were all just...
I think she was trying to save face by saying all the ladies were incredible. But a lot of people are reacting to the fact that Kelly did not mention Brandy in this clip.
Bringing it.
Thank you.
That bar is high.
So when Maya went for I was like, oh my God.
Listen, and with all due respect, right, because we love Money Long, when Money Long wasn't able to do it, the fact that Maya was able to just pop in like that is
She's so
showbiz.
professional, but that's the school. That's the school. You know what I mean? She came in, she shut it down. She put a hell of a show on. I didn't know her dad was a performer too. So it was really cool to meet him, and you understood like where she got it from, but she still like does it like she loves it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they should have had Maya continue on. They should have had Maya on that tour from the beginning. I already talked about that. I didn't even spill tea about that. So go check it out. Go check it out. So the internet has been reacting, and they've been dragging Kelly. Here's the thing. In all fairness, Kelly did not have to say Brandy's name. She didn't have to. We don't know what happened between them. We don't know the history. Apparently, they were bestie-westies at one particular point, became friends again, I believe, at another particular point, and now it doesn't seem like they're as close as they used to be. And I think Kelly has been gracious, because we don't know. It could be Brandy's fault. It could be Kelly's fault. We don't know, but she hasn't been messy in regards to saying it. Could she have just said, Brandy, it was great working with Brandy and seeing her? She could have done that, but she refused. And it makes people think, okay, so what exactly happened? To the point where at no particular point did we see Beyonce interact with Brandy. There's a clip of Brandy making it to the stage and Beyonce basically ducks. Basically ducks, and she's have a good show. Basically ducks. So what exactly happened between Brandy, Beyonce, and Kelly Rowland? When I find out, I'll let y'all know. And it might be on my daytime talk show. Just saying. And maybe Kelly will finally give us the answer that we've been waiting for. And not the answer that she gave Wendy Williams. I'm like, Kelly, come on, spill the tea. Let us know. Because the only thing that stands out to us in Brandy's book is what Rodney said about basically using Beyonce as some sort of dig. But then I had to show you and play for you the radio interview where Wendy alleges that Brandy may have been saying those things to Kelly. Kelly didn't deny it, though. So if that's what was happening, and Kelly grew up with Beyonce, that's one of her best friends. She looks at Beyonce as a sister. So imagine someone talking about your sister, allegedly. I'm not saying that happened, but imagine someone talking about your sister. As a loyal tourist, I'd be done with you too. Shad says, OMG, Beyonce really did duck. She did. We saw the video. We saw the video. All right. Anyway, I digress. Yes, and Ray J was the one who highlighted the fact that Jay-Z and Beyonce did not say hello to his sister. I wish he would just be quiet because he did not help that situation at all. Brandy and Monica are set to do some more tour dates. They're performing in St. Lucia, and then they're going to be headlining Essence Fest this summer. So they're continuing to work together. They're having a good relationship. All right. Toya says, play the video, KEMPIRE. Look, you see why Tuesday Takeover becomes a lot? Now I have to go dig up the video of Beyonce ducking in the background. Y'all saw it too already, okay? I've already done videos talking about this stuff. All right? Anyway. All right. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about, let me just make sure there isn't anything that I missed that I wanted to talk about. No, there isn't. Guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. I've been live for over 2 hours. There's 1,400 of you here. We don't even have 1,000 likes. I'll wait. I'm going to wait till y'all and we get to 1,000 likes, and I'm not going to say it. We're just going to look at each other this entire time. Look. So look. Elle says, Belle says, Kemp, get the belt. Call him out. I'll wait. Thank you, Duchess. Duchess says, sorry, I was late. I just hit the... Thank you. It's all right. But it's not. Let's talk about Kimora Lee Simmons. No, now just Kimora Lee. You're not going to believe this story because, look, they only give us a certain amount of characters that we can use in the title. But I hope you guys were locked in regardless, knowing that we were going to talk and give you an update on another Kimora story. This has nothing to do with her divorce from Russell Simmons. It's her current marriage. So she really was legally married to that man. Let me give you the update because that man, how dare he? This man that's sitting in federal prison, look, basically filed for divorce, but before he went into federal prison, filed for divorce after 12 years of marriage, but they haven't been together in multiple years. Filed for divorce. This man is asking for spousal support. This man is asking for joint custody of the son that they have together. Sir, joint custody? You're currently in federal custody. Stop messing with us Tauruses. Shout out to my Taurus sister, Kimora. Y'all gotta stop playing with my girl. That's my girl, Team Kimora. Yes, the one who went to prison for theft, for stealing millions of dollars. All right, so let me give you the update. Shout out to Kimora Lee Simmons. Kimora Lee, all right? So Kimora Lee, TMZ says Kimora Lee Simmons, but she dropped it, the Simmons. She says, they say Kimora Lee is going through her second divorce because her estranged husband just filed to officially pull the plug on their marriage. Tim Leissner, an ex-Goldman Sachs banker, beelined it to court in February and filed to divorce Kimora after almost 12 years of marriage. Why are we just finding out, though, if he did this in February? And that was right before he went to prison. But I can't believe they were actually married because I thought that the marriage wasn't real because he was married to someone else. That was the rumor on the street, but apparently not. They were really legally married. And this is according to court docs obtained by TMZ. So he filed in February. So in the docs, Tim goes with the boilerplate irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. Tim does not list a date of separation. The doc says TBD, to be determined. But we know they've been estranged since at least March of 2022. So they haven't been together for 4 years. A source familiar with the situation tells TMZ that they've been going through this process for at least 6 years, and this is just a matter of housekeeping. What are they separating? Oh, because remember, she's living in that Beverly Hills mansion which it was something that they bought together. I'm going to just put in quotes, bought together. And then apparently it was sold without her knowing. And she's been living there rent-free for the last 5 years. So according to a source, they said they've been going through this process for at least 6 years, and it's just a matter of housekeeping. Kimora and Tim have one child together, 11-year-old Wolf Lee Leissner. Tim is asking for joint legal and physical custody of their kid, plus spousal support. Did he just not think that he was going to prison? But this was in February. He knew he was going to prison. Kimora and Tim tied the knot in March of 2014, and years ago, Tim admitted in court to faking divorce documents in order to... See? Okay, so I'm not crazy. So how is this marriage legal? Tim admitted in court to faking divorce documents in order to marry Kimora while he was still married to his then-wife, Judy Chan. Oh, he got a thing. I always look at people that... Y'all can read between the lines of what I'm thinking. So I wasn't wrong. So how is this marriage even legal? Can someone explain to me? Lawyers, Miss Esquire, are you around? How is this even legal? So he admitted in court faking divorce documents in order to marry Kimora. Kimora is going to win in regards to anything because she can prove that you admitted in court to lying. So basically whatever is hers, give it to her. The B-Light says, I'm so confused. Gigi's watching from Sweden. Hey, Gigi. Exactly, Pageant Mommy. Exactly what I was thinking. So he admitted Tim, who was a liar, a known liar, convicted liar, admitted in court to faking divorce documents in order to marry Kimora while he was still married to his then wife, Judy Chan. All right. I don't know. Look, I don't know. So apparently they're still going through a divorce, but how are you divorcing someone if you were never really legally married? Either way, we wish Kimora the best. Kimora, as a fellow Taurus, you went through a lot because our sign was in the planet of Uranus. On the 25th, all will be clear. I hope you've prepared yourself for your next chapter. I wish you the best. Look. Because he bamboozled her. But he bamboozled her. Now she's bamboozling him. And she's living in that Beverly Hills mansion for free while he's in a federal prison. The girls' club, Kimora really knows how to pick them. She does, and not in a good and a bad way. Like, they're a little weird. Not a little weird. They're strange birds and thieves and predators. But at the same time, she's able to secure a bag. I can't. I don't like to be around energy like that. Can you imagine? How do you... Anyway, I've digressed. That's all our news stories. You see why I don't love doing Tuesday Takeover? We've been here for 2.5 hours almost. 2.5 hours. I take callers, but I don't think y'all deserve it. We didn't even hit 1,000 likes. Exactly. He's at Club Fed. He wants spousal support. He wants joint and legal custody. Crazy. Anyway, thank you to our sponsor, Hulu, for sponsoring today's Tuesday Takeover. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. We appreciate you guys. Thank you to everyone that's liked the video. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like the video as well. Don't forget you can hear our live recaps and special episodes on the KEMPIRE podcast. Be sure to subscribe today if you haven't already. I also dropped a new Club KEMPIRE episode that features our New York City live show. If you missed it, this is your opportunity. Okay? All right. I appreciate you all being here. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon. I will see you guys probably the next live that we will have, other than like TikTok lives and Instagram. So make sure you follow me on those places. The next live will probably be Friday. Our Friday live. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. I will see you all in the next one. Again, thank you all for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, for becoming members, for the likes. We appreciate it. And again, thank you to our King's Guards and subscribers and channel members. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to KEMPIRE here on the KEMPIRE Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. For more information on the podcast, head on over to KEMPIREradio.com.